Is it? Hold on. Let's see if it's displaying right. Okay, I think it's displaying right now. Sorry about that. I had to like refresh it. Thanks, James. It's cool of you. Thank you. Oh, I hope that their link works out. Let me see. So if I went to... Oh, okay, it does. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. So let me refresh this music. This is a really nice mix. Again, for anyone who's enjoying, you know, a nice mellow background musics that we're playing. It's on the Twitch page too. But this is Reploid X, and today we're going to be listening to relaxing fantasy JRPG music, Chrono Trigger inspired visuals. So I have it linked in the chat, and a big thank you to him for allowing me to share the music. I linked it up there. It's got his YouTube page and the associated links there. So second here. So, like this part today. Okay, hold on. I need to really stop with the. It's funny. So today, there's this other design component here. Let me go ahead and hide one of the pieces. That one, there. Clone it. I've mentioned before, copy, unless you're looking to have it all copy replicate as you make changes, is the best. So this part here. So there's a part above castle tower or castle towers, any kind of cathedral towers, stuff like that, provided they have this particular kind of like Gothic architecture. It's called, it's a part that the spire rests on. It's called a broach. It transitions between like the pinnacle, which is above this, which would be like where you see those castle-y kind of roofs that are like either a cone or triangular. They come in different designs. But this part, the part underneath it, the part that the spire rests on before it goes down into the parts below it, which would be here, is called a broach. So that should be some fun. It can be decorative too. It depends really on what you're looking to do with it, like most things. And so I'm going to position this thing first. Right along with it. Right there. Okay, hold on. There's an easier way to do this. So, x minus 0.843 x minus 0.43. There. And then get the other one. Minus, here. We'll just copy and paste it. There. Now they are directly on top of each other. Hey guys, welcome. How are you all doing today? Hope you're having a nice, was it Thursday? Yeah, Thursday. Hope you're having a nice Thursday. So this part here, if I were to go into the vertex mode, if I want to get like a good idea of where that it begins. So Z 400. So I could start this one here on the Z, if I want it to be accurate. There, right there. Now it's all aligned, right? But of course, I'm going to change the color so that doesn't get confusing. Something like that. And we're going to call this broach. And I'm also going to do something that's kind of like a different tool I haven't showed yet. We're only looking to make a fourth of this. So there's a tool within the parameters. It's a basic tool. It's called Slice On. And we really only just want this to be 90. Kind of like a slice of pizza or pie. Everybody likes pie. And we're going to reduce the sides so it matches. So there. Because we only really need to make the 1/4 of it. Height segments, let's see. No, we don't want height segments. Cap segments. Well, we can just do this part manually here. So that our edges reach down. Otherwise, you can end up some weird distortions. Just going to convert it to an editable poly. Connect. Make 2 there. And 1 here. mean, there's another way I can do this. So I did that way on that one. I'll do a different way on this side. So I'll grab the edges here in the middle sections. I'll bridge them like that. That's on the edge tool. Now if I go over to the border tool, and I pick that, and I can surround these remaining ones, do a cap. It's a cap, and it's essentially the same goal. It's two different ways to do it. Neither one is better or worse than the other. Usually there's multiple ways to achieve something. So, got that. Looking good. But we are going to want to make it, like, more complicated. We're also going to want to make it come out a little bit too. So, go ahead and, well, let's see, which one do we want to do first? We're going to make it crazy. We're not going to make it crazy complicated. But that stuff would be later on for things like trim, but we'll add some character to it. Now let's see. So I'm going to extrude this out. Oh. Not that far. If I click over here, there's different ways, extrusion methods. Like I'll arrow down here. Like, see that? See how it looks? Oh no, of course I'm talking about the part that's sticking out. You see how it changes them? That's broken it up into the different faces. That's back to nothing. That's concave. But this is the one we're looking for right now. And we're going to say, bring it out to 25, which is half of the length of one of these. But wait a minute. Okay, hold on. Let's do that again. 25. And let's take a look at, we don't want it like that. We could do that. Now we can also decrease or, well, it's okay, it's not showing on this angle, we won't worry about that. So that's the extrusion tool. Let's think about the bevel tool. This one has some different options. Now with this one, let's see. Okay, so say what? 7.0? Maybe? But the other bevels didn't do that. Oh, the wrong one. Change it. Let's go to element. Okay. Local? No. We'll go parent. All right. So there we have. What I did was just there are different ways to select and manipulate vertex edges, depending on your move tool options here. So here you can select, there are a number of different ones. What I simply did, if you look at this tool while I change it, see I adjusted it to reflecting upon the parent model so that it is aligned particularly with what I was going to do. You can change these modes. There are a number of different ones, which I only cover them as they were relevant. And normally I'm just keeping it on view. But I wanted to move that one, and I needed it to go in a particular way without getting weird. So I switched it to parent. So then everything is good. So now there are different ways we can think about doing this, like as we're planning. Oh, hold on, let me go ahead and get rid of these extra ones here are not necessary. Double check. Okay. So there's a couple of ways we can think about this as far as planning ahead in mind for eventually when we do texturing. I can really just concentrate on the ones you see, or typically want to do like the full mesh, because you never know when someone might want to, who knows, maybe make it seem like part of the castle tower is, or the tower on whatever is maybe off center, you know, not necessarily always perfect. You know, it's different users for different kit bash kits might want to show different kind of effect. So I would plan it ahead just to keep the entire mesh in mind, rather than just focusing on the only part of it that I'm looking at, because you never know if someone else might want to expose or see other parts of it. For that, I'm going to go ahead, when I make a change on this, I'm going to make it to the entire pizza pie slice, like that. So we're going to go like this, make a bunch of different selections in there. Might not always use all of them, but for keeping it with some symmetry, that'll be fine right there. Let's see. Okay, I have another neat little fun idea. So let's see, I will allow it to connect there, but I'll remove this one. Oh, sorry, I just didn't want to delete that, just remove the edging. Oh. Let's put those in the back. Okay. I can actually incorporate that into a feature on this middle one. Okay. Give me a second. Okay. Let's see. So we've got the making like a bit of a different one for the middle. That same. Actually kind of like that shape. I could do that with each of these. I could see it as being part of the incorporated into some of the design. So let me go ahead and then double back here. I can, yes, I can. I'm gonna take some of these ones that I had put in off, then remove their vertexes because that'll screw you up if they're left just sitting there. And then I'll take the ones down here and I'll do the same thing. Like this. Oops, I don't think I got that there. Okay, now remove those, get rid of the vertexes. So what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to switch to select mode. I want one of those, not two, one. There, there. That, and like that. Same thing over here. do the same across the top. I'll switch off back facing so that it doesn't grab polygons that I can't see. Like if you see there's polygons back here behind everything on this mesh. If I didn't have this selected when I'm doing like one side, if I went like this, for example, it would select ones facing me and facing opposite, which could be a giant problem. So what I would want to do is select back facing. This way, it doesn't pick anything behind facing the other directions. Just, I keep getting messages on Discord. Oh. So I'm going to go ahead and switch these here like that. Okay, so like that. Then I would do a similar thing, which will go faster. This time I'll disable back facing. And I'll pick these and these and these here. And essentially do the same thing as I do with that one. Oh, I missed one. Okay, hold on. Let me go ahead and make sure I get that. Ah, okay. Yeah. I overlooked connecting these. Make sure I did them underneath. Yeah, I just overlooked it on the top. Okay, so that's fine. Not a problem. And then the last thing to make all these match right, switch back on vertex mode, go to back facing so we don't pick up ones behind. You see in the middle one, we have it like meeting here, but on this one and the rest of those outward, we don't. So we connect them. But the back facing or back face option is really important because then we won't grab and mismatch vertexes along the same line of sight, which would be really unfortunate. like a way to get around rather than having to move screens all the time. You have to a lot anyway. Excuse me. So right now we have a top view. I'm just going to flip this to bottom view. So now we're looking at the other side of this, like the bottom of the pizza, so to speak. Since it's just a good reference. And then we'll just pick those and connect them. And there we go. Look back to top view. And now we have something we can actually make some interesting shapes with. But I'll want to like continue maybe to add to the geometry's complexity, since I want it to kind of look somewhat decent, you know? And that's part of the idea of this divider. So let's see. I don't have to do anything crazy fancy with this. Say if I went ahead and maybe just... Ooh, hold on. Here. Like that. Now if I did that across, let's see where we end up. Yep. Nice. We could do something like that. Say if I wanted to... Now hold on, we'll make that look better. Say minus 3.5. Maybe something like that. Maybe not. Oh. Maybe I can... I want to see exactly what the... So it's extruding by 10 centimeters. I mean, that's not bad. That's actually okay. So we'll leave that. And I can do then also something... Glad you agree, James. And let's see. Okay, so one of the other things that I was going to have fun with here was I was going to take these parts, this unusual shape, sort of there. And I'm going to place in an insert. And I'll say an insert of 3.0. And let me do another bevel here. Like that. Except I'm going to decrease to maybe 2.5. So if I like that, okay, hold on. Now we're gonna double back though here, bevel. And I'm going to maybe push this height up to 20. Like that. A little bit of kind of like a decorative feel there. But actually, not all of it was always decorative. In some ways, the decorativeness was meant to accent castle or tower defenses, since back in those like medieval Gothic era times, that was a big thing. I mean, there's lots of components, if you've ever looked at it, to a castle or a tower or anything from back in that era, where there were lots of defenses, deterrents, so that, you know, an invading army or something could not get into easily. Like, you know, a fortress or a structure of importance, or even a cathedral. These things were pretty common. Well, I mean, not like everyday common, but they were common for the time period. So they're definitely, you know, there's considerations that we look at typically as in just merely as a visual aesthetic, but they were functional as well. So they took something like that needed to be there, and they gave it a sort of style to make it look, you know, fancy and stuff like that. But that's why a lot of these ornate parts are built onto, you know, classic, not just Gothic, but other types of architecture too. They were defensive. So anyway, interesting little history there. So I'm keeping with that thinking with this. So I'm thinking, you know, if you have, you know, a bunch of guys trying to climb up this wall here, you know, that's going to make it difficult for them, especially when there's arrows and whatever else flying around. You know, pretty gruesome stuff. And we'll take this part here. These ones. I'll make sure I don't have any other ones selected there. Like that. And we're going to put those as minus 20, since they'll be the exact opposite. Like that. Or I don't have to do minus 20. Maybe that's a bit far for that. Let me try minus 10. That might be enough, since it's, yeah, you know, give a little bit of difference. And I'm not doing the end cap here one because it'll connect right to another one, like if we replicate this. I was actually thinking about that as the next thing. So like if we took this, let me go ahead and use this tool. So say we went ahead and cloned this right now. We would have, let me get the right angle. Oh, that's not the right. Yeah. So we would have something that looked like that. But you can see here, there's a bit of like a divider point. So what I kind of want to do, oh yes, yeah, James, this is how like yeah, that's what a kit bash is. This is a lot of how the props and stuff and VFX and games are made. You make one, or you make some variations of it, of a part, rather than trying to reinvent the wheel every time. Like if you see games, I mean, granted there are tons of assets, of course, depending on the scale of the team that's making the game and, you know, the complexity. But you might see like a wagon wheel. You might see, if you really pay attention, you might see like 3 or 4 versions of a wagon wheel. It depends, you know, it depends again on like the game's, the budget and everything. But you've seen this before. If you pay attention to it, you see like some variations of common things, like a rain barrel, or say a crate, stuff like that, you know, props. But it also applies to the architectural build. Their games are typically built almost like Lego pieces or puzzle pieces, and they're called kit bash. Is the process. It's where you make the pieces, and then they can be assembled in a bunch of different ways. And you've seen this definitely in a lot of games. So that's how a lot of it happens. Make, a few copies or a few versions of something that need it, and then you're good. And you can reuse those assets. And for this part that connects here to the other one, and also on this side, I'm thinking of doing something a little different with it. So, let's say... No, I don't want it to go inward. I want it to go... something like that, but... I'm going to do a little adjustment here. I'm going to take that. I'm going to switch my view to parent. Oh wait, there. Sorry, parent, there. And I'm going to push this along. Like that. And I'll do the same on the other side. Okay, so then we have this one on kind of like a cap segment. That'll be a little bit different than the other ones. Give it a little bit more, character. Adds a little bit more of a change in there, which is fun. And if I want to, I can also do a bit more even. Because why stop there, right? So I could always go ahead and I could always bevel these in. I want to see what it will look like. But not out. I'll go in minus 10%. Okay, I like that. And I have to make a few adjustments though. So we'll do this. Go there, 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 and there. And the same thing over here. Like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and here and here. And we can see where it's different there. What I wanted to do, using with the parent mode selected, align it. And you can get really specific in 3D design program. It's actually why I prefer to do this kind of stuff rather than in the game engine itself. I know a lot of people kind of use the game engine tools as great tools, and it can be good for a lot of things, but for really, really highly detailed model attributes, it can't really touch the level of intricacy that you can get. No, not con. I mean, this is just like, yeah. I mean, there's pros and cons. Like, yeah, you can do a bunch of things, but it helps to be able to actually be able to do this stuff outside of the game engine. There's a lot of reasons for that. Not that you can't do any of your, stuff in the engine like that. There are plenty of tools, but when you're trying to get real specific about highly detailed architecture, I don't know. I mean, not that you can't do it, but why make it harder on yourself? So, like, you don't just have to use, like, there's not just the program I'm using, which is 3D Studio Max by Autodesk. It's my preferred one, but there's like open source ones like Blender, which is really popular with a lot of people. It's a very popular 3D modeling software, and it has a lot of, like a lot of good points to it. So, and it's free, which is probably one of the best points. Great for students and stuff like that, because some of the 3D design programs can be pretty expensive. That's true. I'm not saying that they're not worth it. They are. They have a lot of really nice qualities, but they are, pricey. Yeah, I mean, it's given. Let me see here. True, some can't reach. Hey, James, is it possible for you to type in the Twitch? I don't know if you can on your phone or if you're on your phone. It keeps me from having to toggle back onto Discord. If you can't, it's fine. I just wanted to ask. At some point, when I, later on, maybe I'll get this into Unreal Engine and I can show that. Oh, okay, no problem. No problem, Jay. I was just curious. So, like, give you an example. It'll be hard to understand much without, like, seeing it in Unreal. But I showed a little bit. Like, if I wanted to zoom in on a point, I'd say a game engine, or like, I'm using Unreal as an example. It could probably get me about this close, which is not bad. But if you're looking to be highly specific, you're like, again, this is 3D Studio Max. I can really, really get there. Like, if I need to get down to a super close point to make sure everything is symmetrical, I can do that in a 3D design program versus a game engine, which doesn't have that kind of magnification capability. It has some magnification capability, but they're not really built for everything. They do try to accommodate, but yeah, they do have limitations, since they are more designed for building games or putting them together, and with a lot of other components, where the 3D design programs are like a specific kind of program designed for a purpose. So then we'll go ahead and connect these. Oop. Like that. Nice, nice. And here as well. Same on the other side. Hey, welcome to stream. How are you? And then we'll do here and here. There and there. Then I can fill these in using my cap tool. But I'm gonna go an extra step too, since I don't like leaving potentially problematic geometry just hanging in the wind. But I will do this portion first. And it's basically the same thing on the side. Alright, so easy way to keep that from ever becoming a problem, because not that it will, but it can, is adding another geometry piece in there. And what I'll do is I'll link that to there, and I'll link that there. Oh, wait a minute, sorry. Well, that brings up an interesting question. You know, I could actually leave it like that. Yeah, I could. But it's unnecessary. Okay, so that's good actually. Hey guys, welcome to stream. How are you today? So on this part, what I'm just going to do is link this geometry there, this one here, keeping in mind that I want them to stay symmetrical. Okay, so making sure there, that one and this one. And I will just go ahead and weld them together. Make sure they are. Nice. And let's do a quick... It's not anything fancy, like there's no texturing or lighting or anything in here. This is just like a test render to see if the geometry looks okay. And give it a second. In case, I want to make sure it doesn't reveal any kind of issues that might have came up. So... looks okay. Okay, so that came out okay. And again, the whole fun of Kit Bash is you don't reinvent the wheel. Well, not literally. In a Kit Bash setup, you would just replicate the parts to go around, only making a variation for the ones that you would want to have, like a version 2 or version 3. Like maybe one might have, say, something like a broken part or some kind of difference that you want to emphasize. So if you were to kind of like take this and look at it, and it would end up like that. And I created like this one part here. as a type of sectional divider between the two other parts, or sorry, between the two, so they like stand out. But I might want to change something about that, because looking at it in a render, you know, just test render, kind of don't actually like that so much. But I can make it more narrow. I think that would look more appealing. So go ahead and do that. But we tested it. Only have to do it for the one. It takes a lot of the unnecessary legwork out of trying to replicate things over and over and over again. Hey, Hypno. Or, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's Hypno. How you doing? Cisco. And hey, Bad Luck. How are you guys doing? Hope you guys are all having a nice Thursday. And hey, Friday's right around the corner. That's good news, right? So, on this one here, I'm going to, like, put one in, but I don't want it exactly middle. No, hold on. See, I can adjust a slider here. Direct middle. I kind of want this to be maybe, I'll say 20% different. And that'll reflect on both sides then when I make hobby. Oop. Nice. I hope you have a good day, Hypno. Did you end up getting anything good in your PSO2 runs last night? On this part, hey guys, welcome. Nice, nice. Hey, that's worth something, right? I saw the play when you guys were playing. It looks like they made Anga slower than in base. Like Anga used to be crazy fast. And I think, oops. Who was it? I think it was Pesty who was telling me that they removed the elemental, Anga's elemental debuff. But it looked like Anga was like on slow-mo compared to base. Here, and there. Oh, give me a second. Stream stickers. I'm not really sure what that is, Cisco. But I mean, I am online. I don't know what stream stickers are though. Weapon debuff, yeah, James. Weapon debuff, yeah, that's what I meant. It's been a long time. I don't since I've seen Anga. I just remember Anga being a lot faster. I don't know if that's me remembering it wrong or. Okay, so now hold on. I'll take a look at the change I made here to make it like kind of more appealing looking. I mean, a bit more of a curve. Because who doesn't like curves, right, guys? There. All right, so yeah. Okay, that was. New people need to gear up though. Ah. I still have my what's the one up from La Fladio, I think? The one up from that? I didn't bother doing all of my gear. I want to say for the most recent thing, because it's like they upgrade it every like 2 months almost. So it's usually you'll skip one before another one will come along, since I don't see the point in like doing it constantly chasing the eternal carrot every like you can never get comfortable with your own gear. So we have like a nice brooch going here, and I gave a whole like dissertation on why these were not just an aesthetic in Gothic style architecture, but functional. But they made them look nice. And let's replay that. That's a nice mix. I think, again, Reploid X for allowing me to play his music. Yeah. And again, what's nice about this is doing it in fourth. I don't have to make another one unless I want to make something different about it. So I've kind of been going with the fourth method. But this isn't completely done yet. That's coming along nice. I like how the architecture, is starting, gives a little bit of character to it. So I mean, like hypothetically, if we wanted to, I'm just gonna hide this piece here. I'm not actually going to do this, but say we wanted to, we have a few pieces. We have 6 pieces selected here. Now, if I wanted to say maybe, okay, hold on, I'll redo this one. Just kind of give a clone, copy, and I'll position it. But this is just for, fun here. If I were to take these, clone, and say copy, move it down. I'll hide that. If I want to take these and copy them again. Bring them down. You see how quickly you can end up making a tower? Like, you get the idea. And very quickly, it starts to look like Castlevania. but these are all just copies of the original. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like, you know, just a kind of like a bit of a way to show that a lot of time when people first start getting into design, they, you know, it takes a while to get some of these kind of like quality, these traits incorporated into your like design flow. So a lot of times people will end up doing things a really hard way where they'll try to model out every piece, I mean every brick, whatever, like that, and it just takes forever to do. But, you know, you learn as you just that there are more efficient, streamlined ways of doing this, and this is how games get made. A lot of the times they use kit bash. There's also modular building too, which I know was really popular for a while. I don't know if modular building is as much a thing anymore, but like modular assets in games, I think especially like FPS games and like maybe car racing games where they were like instanced areas that you would appear in where it would randomly generate environments. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? I don't really play FPS games or MOBAs or, you know, car racing games, but or like script a area, make it kind of unique, but you would have assets pop in there like maybe trees, buildings, different stuff like that, but it would be slightly different each time. And that's modular, where it kind of like rams the stuff together and there's a bit of randomness to it, where it's not always just the same exact thing. That's what modular is. It basically is all the pieces that fit together. Now, kit bashing is creating the modular assets like this. And I think so the spire will rest on top of here. From down here it looks good. I would think I want to add I'll get rid of this one. I want to add one thing, well, more than one thing, but like something along here. So I'm going to go ahead and select these. And I'm going to bring this back to 0.0 and bring this up to 2, like that. So now it's done it all the way around the geometry. On top and underneath. And what I can do here is take this. So I kind of want a demarcation line of, well, actually, I might want to use this line. It helps. Yeah, I mean, your space usage, like, you can do it either way, Cisco. You could start with the interior and then make your exterior relative to that. Or you can do the exterior and then have your interior. I guess it really just depends on what you're doing. I was leaving some room open with this because I don't exactly have... I know I want this tower to be unusually large. So actually I started building this tower from the outside and the top down versus the bottom up because I didn't want to leave myself confined with, you know, square footage. So I wanted to be able to expand it. And that's why I did it that way. You might not always do that for something, but in this case, that's what I did. And I'm going to end up doing a little bit of a bevel there. Say, I'll leave it at 2.5. But I'm going to increase maybe I'll make that minus 5.0. And minus 5.0 and minus 5.0 maybe. Let's see. Now it's kind of like concave there. I can use that. So I'm thinking of like drainage here. Yeah, like, you know, rain collects. And I can create like a little off ramp for it on the corners, on the edges of these parts here. So let me get rid of that, that, and that. And I'll switch that. I will switch this to my vertex control of parent mode so that I can get these aligned out here correctly. Parent, switch, and I'll just get it like right along there. Nice. And the same thing here. Oops. I moved my mouse at the last minute. Okay, that's good. So this is going to be like an example of like a Gothic style gutter, like, you know, like you have on your house or something. So first, let me go ahead and move this back to view. I will bridge these together on both sides. There we go. All right, so for that we did -5. So for here, like that. want it to be lower. I'm going to put it down to 30. No, might need to be more than that. Say down to 40 there. Okay. And connect that. So hypothetically, if we were thinking if there was rain and the rain started filling up this, gutter on the top of a tower by the pinnacle, it would need to have a bit of a curve in order for the water to drain off the castle or a tower. And that's what I wanted to think about there, was I wanted to give it a little bit of a slope. And I can continue that right over here. I can go ahead and give it more of a slope there. Like that. And I want to do the same thing on the other side. And this one, since it's reverse side, I'll need to put it at -40. Like that. It's not done yet, of course, though. Just want to keep them like at the same points. So it'll be like cutting into this part here, but that's okay. So I'll take this one, this one, this one, that one. To here. Yeah, and I can just go down. That would be good. I'll do the same thing over here. Oops. Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's what I forgot to add down there. Well, no, actually that'll go good. Make it like a like a V. Okay. So what I'll do here now is I'll take these two here. Oops. Like that. Make it closer, or right angle. And then this one here. Actually, I don't. I'm going to redo some of that. I don't like it too much. But they are different slope angles, so yeah, that's good to like see now and then change. So I'm just going to like take a look at where I don't like that, how that is lined up. So I would ideally want this. I'm going to remove this. And then I'll do the same thing right here. That way, the polygon will be turned into a triangle here on this part, since we don't ever really want a polygon that's bent. And I explained this in one of the previous ones where after we do something like that, in order to not end up with weird face issues on them, we want to delete a section of the new geometry and then go ahead and replace it with a fresh face. That way it doesn't end up with any kind of issues. And I'll do the same thing over here. Connect that there. Oops. And hold on, I'm gonna put them back facing so it doesn't catch those behind. And then there. weld these vertices together. We'll replace this one and this one. Oh wait, actually, let me do the one first. There. Then I'll delete that one and do a new face there. So it kind of has a bit of like a funneling section that will... Wait, did I make that one? No, I think I left out the... Yeah. I actually might want to go ahead and make one more difference here. But this is also going to be an opportunity to show off a different tool, a different aspect of the edge tool. So I grab an edge. I don't think I've done this in this video yet. So I can select and drag edge geometry out like this. And then weld that and create a new face. Connected, of course, to the main pieces. Because I was thinking this would make more sense. Water goes down and then out. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. So with my move tool, highlighting on the Z-axis, and I'm holding down shift and left on my mouse, and I just simply drag it out. And that's how you would create edges from edges that are already existing there. So then it looks like we would have the water would come like over like this edge here and down in through like a V. But I'm not so sure if I've like left that maybe too narrow a space for it to go through. Think on that for a second. I'm doing a picture in my head of imagining the water running through there, like say during a rainstorm, and thinking of whether it would bottleneck it. I could make this more like a pitcher in a way. So let me get rid of these two. And what I'll do is I'll make an edge down here. So I'm going to do the same technique. I'm dragging the edge out. And then I will simply fill in this part here so that it kind of funnels the water into the V, and it goes like the water will naturally want to go down and follow the path of that, and the water in the back will constantly push the water in the front off, basically how a gutter is. Lots of science in there. And I'll change this one too. Wait a minute. Okay. Oops. so there and there. I'll add a little bit of an added feature here. So let's say we want it to function like, you know, a bit of, almost like a bit of a dam in a way, but keeping with the architecture theme. So what I might do then is maybe take this part, I'll make that 15.0. And then I'll take this front edge and connect it. And it adds another little interesting architectural characteristic. Hey guys, welcome to stream. How are you today? And I'll do the same thing here. Like that. Was that James? You wonder what that will be? It's sort of just like a little piece of architecture there. When thinking about rain, you know, like it would rain and this would catch it like a gutter and funnel it down. And I want to actually see what it looks like when I start adding another piece. I mean, you know, that's really the ultimate test. I want to see what it looks like here. I kind of wanted it to be like a V there. And there's one here. There'll be one on each intersection there. And that's kind of what it'll look like. So let's see. Let's do a little test render here. See how that looks. And let me actually rotate it a little bit. So there would be 4 of these scattered, or, you know, not scattered, but on each of the intersection parts. The water would collect. It would be, you know, maneuvered down over here, pushed by other water, and then run off of the spire. And so that the people standing down below didn't have, like, you know, a waterfall raining on them. There's this part of the architecture that sticks out that water would splash on and then kind of split off in different directions a little bit, so that you weren't standing underneath, like, you know, I don't know if you've ever had that happen, maybe by your house, where there's like one area where the water will concentrate and it seems like there's a waterfall coming off your house if it was raining really hard. Especially if it has like a large roof section. And these are, you know, giant tower sections, so that's not too bad. I think that works out nice. So yeah, it funnels it. Water comes down, splits there, maybe runs off the front too. Kind of would split it in like almost 3 directions. Which also could make for some nice VFX. Some pretty cool water effect there. Almost like a waterfall effect. I mean, in reality, you know, it's not something the player would ever really probably pay that much attention to if something like that is in a game, but it is a detail you think about. if you're, designing something. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, plants or vines. I mean, that could make for some interesting grappling, Like if you're doing like a Metroidvania, who knows? There might be a hidden treasure chest up there that you can climb up to. That you don't have the we'll say like the grappling thing yet, but you see it there. It's like teasing your eyes, like, oh, there's a treasure up there that you want to get to it, but you have to like get back at it later on. Those kinds of things are fun in games. It's part of why I like Metroidvania style games. They have good re-exploration quality. So that's kind of what that would look like there. That's pretty neat. Yes, backtracking. Backtracking, to make areas more fully accessible and stuff. That's a great thing. So this is what I'm going to post it in chat. This is, for those of you that like architecture stuff, this is what it's actually called. It's called a broach. This thing that we made here is a broach. That's what it's actually referred to as on, say, a Gothic style castle, cathedral, tower, different things like that, the different pieces of architecture. On top of the broach would go the spire, which would be the curved roof looking thing. And those can come in different styles. It depends on the kind of tower you're making. Like I'm doing a circular one, so it will likely be more of a cone. But you can do 4.1s or like pyramidal. It depends on really what you're building on the style. I'm going for more of that kind of like Gothic European. So the cone one seemed right. I wanted to have, Castlevania vibes to it. So neat little piece of design, like stuff, all these different parts of buildings, towers, castles. They all have names, all of these sections that you put together. It's a funny little architecture aspect. There's actually quite a few of them. And we'll be doing more of them. But kind of like I did before. Yes, we will. We will. There might be a test too, James. No, I'm just kidding. So, like, if I were to do this, I know, I'm just kidding. There's no test. No test. So, kind of like I did before, I'm just gonna like have a little bit of a quick fun here, showing the beauty of kit bashing. So, like, if we were just to take a look at this, which hardly has anything built in it to it, but we'll give it like, that up angle view, like you're looking up at it. Cue the spooky music. There's lightning, there's thunder, we have water coming down. And give me a second to let the renderer catch up. And it doesn't seem like a lot of parts at first. I only have a few there, but look how much you can do with it already. And that's really just with like of the original pieces. 1, 2, wait, I have to get the window. There's the window pane, the window trim. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 pieces. Oh, I'm sorry, that went down over there. There. 6 pieces makes this happen. And that's all so far. So it takes a little bit to put the one piece together. Like that was, a bit of time there putting that brooch together. The brooch had some detail on it though. But for doing 6 pieces, you know, it looks like you can almost put an entire basic tower together. And that's kind of the whole idea of kit bashing 3D modeling stuff. It's to trim down on the time by not making a bunch of repeat parts. Unless you want them to have differences, which I will make some do that. But these are just some of the basic parts of it going together so far. There's going to be unique parts and differences added with some of like I'll do like stone facing there to show a little bit of variety. And that will give it a bit more character. Like it's not obviously going to always like stay completely flat like that. But you don't want to overdo it too. You can take care of a lot of the look of like tiny changes in surface materials to give them more of a 3D effect with texture mapping. That's typically how games do it. With bump maps and normals maps, give a lot of that variety its kind of rough feel, especially for things like stone or wood or concrete or even like natural things like rock faces or grass on the ground or mud or dirt or anything like that. You do have changes in the terrain, but you can achieve a lot of that with bump and normals maps because they play off light and shadow along with the normal map, the regular map, the actual texture map, to give the illusion of roughness or coarseness. And that's kind of a lot of how that is achieved. Like the whole idea of VFX is it's all trickery. You know, it's like a magic show. It's all just visual trickery. So that's what we have so far here. 6 pieces, and it does pretty nice so far. Putting like a, you know, it's the basic part of a tower together. It's not really like at all the limit of what's going to go into it, but it's a nice start. Yeah, UVW mapping is where we take all of this, we flatten it, and then we take it into something. I mean, there's different programs you can use for that. You can use Photoshop, Illustrator. I might be doing it with Substance Painter, which is a really good program for texture mapping. It's like one of the best out there for it. And it has a lot of capabilities that you would find it hard to replicate in other things. But that will be something later on. We want to get somewhere with our like tower going on here. Like I'm not really doing anything with textures yet. The only thing I'm applying are the, you know, just simple flat color things to show the differences in the actual meshes so that it doesn't get confusing, especially as more get added to it. But yeah. A foundation placeholder. What do you mean? A foundation placeholder? Oh, hold on. Let me see here. Oh, the colors are just to show that these are separate meshes. Like if I had them all blue or all the other color, it would be hard to differentiate that these were different things. So they're not even, these are not at all texture map kind of, or you know, material shader colors. These are just something I'm using in the work window to show that they're different separate meshes, so they stand out from each other. Otherwise, it would get really confusing as you start adding more and more geometry into the scene if everything was the same color. Especially for smaller or detailed parts, it's easy to overlook something. Yeah, these are, that's all these colors are for. They're not at all reflective of any kind of texture mapping. They're just identifiers. But I'll probably wrap it up here in about 5 minutes, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the stream and the music too. Again, thanks to Reploid X for sharing his music, or letting me play his music on stream. I posted in the beginning of the stream. I'm not sure if it's visible. Is it? I'll repost it. You guys like what you're listening to? It's part of a collab that I was doing with a guy who does music on YouTube, and I will post his links here. Hold on, give me a second here. There's that one. Here is his Ko-Fi. Wait, there's his YouTube and his Ko-Fi shop. If you're enjoying the music, he does really nice music. And this particular one is this one right here. If you like this, it's kind of relaxing. It's nice to do design too. That one, which is, give me a second to pull it up. It's relaxing fantasy JRPG music, Chrono Trigger inspired. So it's pretty nice. Mellow, which is really good for this stuff. Lets you focus. And if you guys ever want to check out 3D design stuff, and the program I'm using, and I will actually link it. So I love this program. Give me a second to pull up a link for it. Okay, let me type in Autodesk. Oh, Google's really taking a long time. Give me a second. So let me find here. I just went to the Autodesk website. I'm looking at they have a lot of different programs. Here. And sorry, it's taking a minute. I think with the stream and everything like that, it's like, just making everything run a little slow. So this is the program I'm using. Here. It's Autodesk 3D Studio Max. And there's like an overview of it. Great program. Like I said, there are, you know, free alternatives too. Like Blender is a popular one. It's open source. It has a lot of really useful tools for people. If you wanted to look, if you were interested in 3D design and wanted to look into something like that, like a free alternative would be Blender. The one I learned on is Autodesk 3D Studio Max, so that's the one I stick with. And I want to thank you guys for showing up to the stream. I hope you found this to be fun or useful, enjoyable. And I think I'll also be streaming tomorrow. Unless something happens, in which case I would change my schedule, but I posted a schedule. You can find it like on here on my Twitch. Like I'll probably be gaming tonight. Hey, thank you. Bad luck. Glad you enjoyed. I mean, even if you don't want to do 3D design, I mean, we're all gamers. So I know people get curious, and that was kind of my like inspiration for doing these. I know people get curious sometimes, you know, like gamers about how stuff gets made, models and environments and stuff like that. There's a lot of different aspects, but you know, that's all I think pretty interesting, especially for gamers. You get to get an idea of how the stuff gets built. And I'm going to... Okay, look, so... Let me see who's on. Now, Chrono's on. Give me a second here. Let me go ahead and open this up. I'm trying to get used to some of... I'm pretty new to the Twitch thing, so I'm trying to get used to some of the things. And give me a second here. Pulling up, like, the raid thing. Yeah, how it's made. It makes me think of that show. It's pretty fun. And sorry it's taking a few seconds, guys. It's probably the bandwidth. A lot of it is getting like eaten up because I'm like streaming over OBS and stuff. That, or maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just Twitch or something. So give me a second here. And we will, let me search. Yeah, let's see. We'll go ahead and raid Chrono Muse here. It's just taking a minute for things to load, which is annoying. I'm sorry about that, but we'll get there. Okay, here we go, guys. We're gonna raid Chrono. Pause the music there. And I will save this.